I want to share with you what you've been told about mental health is not even true. The Emotional Wellness Code, Part 2. Part 1 is yesterday. So if you've not caught Part 1, make sure you go back. My name is Judy Herman, the author of Beyond Messy Relationships. I'm a psychotherapist and also a speaker. But first of all, I do want to give a disclaimer about what I'm about to share. Number one, what I'm sharing here is not a substitute for professional counseling services, so don't take it as such. And number two, the human brain and severe mental illness is extremely complex. So what I'm sharing is from my own experiences, both as a mental health practitioner and having lived with a highly functioning husband who had a severe mental illness. And this is what I found. First of all, when you think of mental illness and the human brain, think of this mandarin orange here. Like I can, I just picked this out of the refrigerator, and you can take your thumb and basically start peeling away. There's this peel that just comes off really easily, right? And so that's a very simple way of perhaps how we try to dissect our understanding of the human brain and mental illness. So it's not easy like peeling a mandarin, okay? But again, I want to share some things with you that I think could be very freeing on so many levels. And again, this is what I have learned and my experience has been over the years, and this is what I found. Yesterday, I talked about how labels can actually limit our thinking about ourselves. And when you're in the mental health the system and you get a label like bipolar disorder or some kind of depression, anxiety, PTSD, whatever that label is. But the thing is, we can focus too much on that and we get hyper focused on it and we ask ourselves what's wrong with me. So in that way, the system that may groom you to see yourself much smaller or see yourself as just having that illness and not seeing your whole being is definitely something that is not true, because you're so much more than that. So yes, go back to that first one. I'm just reviewing, but the second one, number one, is labels can limit our thinking about ourselves. And when we limit our thinking about ourselves, we limit our thinking about our humanity and what we are capable of. So number two is that labels can keep us from developing resilience. You see, we have been groomed for a long time to believe that we're unable to grow. So if you have gotten a diagnosis early in your life, and you identify too much with that diagnosis and that label, and that we have excuses about it or whatever, it's like, then we believe about ourselves that we can't grow beyond this diagnosis, or that we are chronically at this stage. But again, that is so not true. It's just simply not true about how our humanity is. We are designed to grow. We're designed to grow up. We're designed to be resilient. But secondly, about labels can keep us from developing resilience. They disempower us. They disempower our God-given choice to grow our character. So if there was a struggle from years ago, and that struggle is the same as today as it was then, we're limiting, we're disempowering our human resilience and identifying too much with what the mental health system is identifying us as. So I'm speaking to those who do have have a diagnosis on, or even if you live with someone who has a mental health diagnosis and you're trying to walk around on eggshells to make sure that you can manage their emotions. You can't. Don't try. You cannot do for another human being what only they can do for themselves. So the work of ungrooming, if you've been groomed to believe about yourself or about your loved one that they can't, grow their character or grow to a different level of being through that illness, or even take total responsibility for getting the help that they need. If you don't believe that, so that work of ungrooming, it takes repetition until it just seeps into our subconscious. If we begin to believe, yes, I am a growing and resilient human being, and what I struggled with years ago is that's in the past, and I've grown some wisdom, I've grown some meaning and character, and I don't need today what I needed then. But again, you have to be, you have to know what your vulnerabilities are. You need to make sure that you surround yourself with the support and continue to grow rather than living in the illusion that you've got this. We learned that in 12-step programs, right? Where you realize that what you've been dealing with is much bigger than you. You need people around you. You need to continually grow and develop. So anyway, those are just two things right now. I'm going to show up tomorrow. This is going to be a very quick video, but the first thing is that, yeah, what you've been told about mental health is not even true. And the first thing is that labels can limit our thinking about ourselves. We are so much more than our diagnosis. And then labels can keep us from developing resilience. And I want to give you an opportunity to develop your resilience. And again, if you're living with someone who has a mental illness to the point where you're walking on eggshells, you may be really interested in my coaching program called Show Up and Be You and Stop Walking on Eggshells. So I am excited about this coaching program. And I also have my book, Beyond Messy Relationships. You can get the first 3 chapters for free, actually, from my website. Go to judycounselor.com. But the main thing is that you identify yourself. First of all, mental health and our human brains are so not simple like peeling this mandarin orange. This makes a good snack, doesn't it? But there's so much more to learn. But we don't want to limit ourselves through the labels, because you are so much more than that, and you are so worthy. All right. So thank you for joining me, Judy Herman, and I hope you have an awesome day. All right. Bye-bye.